Well, if you're worried about that, I mean, I think if they see something like that, they see somebody caught in the middle of that, they're probably not going to assume right off the bat that you're exploiting. They'll probably think, oh, he just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They'll probably ask people that are close to you that would know you really well if you're an exploiter. And if they ask me, I'll say, I'm quite certain that the legendaries that he seems to get every day are gotten completely legitimately. I don't believe that there's any hanky-panky going on at all. And so I got you, man. I got you.
You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast with Dex and Mac. I got mouths to feed, so let's get this thing started. Time is money, friend.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Azeroth. You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast, your guide to making gold in World of Warcraft. This is episode 37. I'm your host, Dex, coming to you from Napa, California. With me on Skype is the man who's only in it for the money, which explains his massive disappointment, my co-host Mac from Anchorage, Alaska. How you doing, Mac?
Yeah, I haven't been shown the money lately.
Show me the money. Oh man, I think we have
I can show you moss in my wallet.
we might have a show title. No, now today's show title is going to be 7.2 because 7.2 dropped, and we're going to get into a little bit about that. We've only had it for almost 3 days here.
I thought you were going to make a comment about our combined IQ or something. I don't
Oh man. Well, so anyway, before we get into all of that, why don't we get into this week a little bit? How was yours?
It's been doing pretty good. Been doing a lot of questing out the dungeon, out there, still doing a lot of gathering, enjoying some of the new stuff on the new island, but we'll get into that here in a bit. Had fun last night. Made my monthly addition to Sky Golems in the auction house. Went to list mine, and someone had one priced way too low, so I had to snatch that up. Sold mine for about 20,000 more than I bought the one in the auction house for, and now that one's back up on sale for that price as well. So I'm expecting to make a nice profit out of that.
There you go.
Have fun. Was having the guys over at the new guild help me out today. We'll talk about that when we go into what's going on with 7.2. Not that I've had a lot of experience with it. Getting ready to switch to daylight hours.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, as of next week. My 20-some-odd years of working nights or afternoon and evening shifts is coming to an end. I'll be working days for the first time in years and years, so hopefully my body will be able to adjust to that. It will mean that you and I may have some playtime together.
I'm just picturing you getting up early in the morning. I'm so used to you working the late shift. I pick up the phone and I'll give you a call, and then I'll be like, oh crap, it's only 2 p.m. He's not up yet. So in fairness, it's only 1 p.m. your time when it's 2.
Right. I get up at the crack of noon,
the crack of noon.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then I had to go in and do my physical this morning for the new CDL I've got to get. And my work set the appointment for me, and they set it at 8:15 in the morning, which for me is usually I've been in bed about 2 hours, 3 hours by that time. So I was there bleary-eyed having fun, but I have my certificate, so now all I have to do is go down and pass the damn test.
There you go.
Yeah. The easy part was the medical. You've seen me drive, man.
That's amazing that the easy part was the medical.
Yeah.
Oh, there was no psychological test, was there?
I think they had to give that to Mrs. Mack when she said I do.
Oh, that's not why.
Yeah. You're really trying to get me in trouble.
How
has your week been?
Well, I had some frustrations of my own this week. My kids' PlayStation 3 gave up the ghost, and we needed to get them a new PlayStation, and I don't, I used to back in the day, but I don't really do consoles that much anymore, and found out there's a reason for that after I messed with it a bit. But so the wife and I, we talked about it. I said, oh yeah, we'll get them a PlayStation 4. And those of you that had a PlayStation 3 and you went to a PlayStation 4 might already know where I'm going with this, but the PlayStation 4 arrived and kids are excited. They've got their nice library of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games that we've acquired over the years because we've had all 3 of those systems. And I would have gone to an Xbox or something like that, but the idea was to let them, keep their games that, of course, would be grandfathered in, which has been the policy. Nope. PlayStation 4 decided that no, they weren't going to be backward compatible, and so I had to break it to my kids that you got a new gaming system and no games to play on it. It didn't even come bundled with one.
You didn't check reviews on it, huh?
I didn't, and
till after, huh?
Oh, yeah, I looked later and I saw that there were quite a few people that were not too happy about that. And so, being the good parents that we are, we popped on and ordered a few games for the kids and brought them in. And, oh, my word, the new PlayStation, I can't figure out how to turn the bloody thing off. It wants to go on standby, I guess, but it doesn't seem to be a real obvious way to shut it off the right way. And the controls for some of the games are just so convoluted. There was a Star Wars game, Battlefront, that the kids wanted, and it's like you guys are on your own figuring out this thing. I'm not going to read any directions or anything like that. That's not my thing. But,
that's a guy thing, isn't it?
So yeah, my 9-year-old who will have it figured out inside a couple of days. He'll have everything figured out on it, I'm sure. I just handed it over to him and said, "Figure it out. Tell your siblings how to play after you figure it out." So that's where we left that. But I'll tell you, after messing around with that, I realized why console games aren't really my thing. We've talked about this a little bit on the show before, that, Mac and I have played a few other MMOs like EverQuest and City of Heroes and, the
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic, yeah, Rift. So a few different MMOs. And the one thing that seems to be a pretty good constant is, movement keys and things like that. Most of the chat functions are either the same or very similar. So you can transition from one game to the next. And it was the movement in that one game was just so bizarre. And I just said, nope, not going to learn a totally new way to move around a map. Nope, not going to do it. And so I kind of walked away from it and said, here you go, let the kids take it over. And they were probably good for them to see the old man walk away from it. They were probably laughing at me, but yeah.
Well, anyway. I forgot to mention we had the grandson today went to he had passed he went to the state spelling bee. He beat out his school for the spelling bee, so he went to the state spelling bee today, and he's fourth grader, and they've got up to 8th graders that he's going up against. He actually went through the first round. He did get bonked out in the second round, but he made it past a lot of 7th and 8th graders. So I'm kind of proud of the little bugger.
It gets a little bit rough as parents though when they start to learn how to spell, especially if they're a spelling bee champion. I mean, it's rough. I mean, I remember
you
as a
spelled
kid,
out.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, my parents used to spell things out, that they didn't want us to know what they were talking about, and we didn't let on when we first started figuring out what they were saying. And
they did that through high school with you, right?
Well, it worked like through my sophomore year. I was still completely clueless on what they were talking about. But anyway, like what's funny is my kids are learning how to spell as well. Pretty good. And like I mentioned, my 9-year-old a minute ago. My wife gave up cursing for Lent, and so she's starting to spell things out when she wants to, I don't know, let me know that she's displeased about something,
I thought it was that look you could tell.
Yeah, well.
No, wait. Your wife's Italian. She doesn't give you the look. She starts yelling, right?
No, you're right. And,
mine gives me the look.
I would love the look because I just would look away and wouldn't notice. But she's on to me with that. But so she's spelling out all these curse words to let me know just how pleased she was with me. And my 9-year-old said, Mommy, spelling out curse words is the same as saying them. If you gave it up for Lent, you shouldn't be doing that, And I'm like, last time they caught me in a church, and I'm like nodding my head like, yep, that's right, And so anyway,
you woke up several hours after service, right?
Yeah. Well, there's
why am I the other one here?
I've got this fear of bursting into flames when I walk through the door, so it's my wife is convinced that would totally happen to me. But anyway, that's far enough upfield for that. But anyway, as far as World of Warcraft goes, I also played around a little bit with some of the new stuff. Not as much as you, obviously, and we can get into that here. But yeah, it's seems to be some changes, some of which are a little confusing to me. I guess after a couple more days to live with it, we'll figure it out a little bit better. But
I played. I mean, the first night it came out, I was able to play for. Well, first night that 7.2 came out, I was able to play for a few hours, and I had to go to bed. I had to work the next day.
Right.
And then yesterday, I didn't play because I knew I had to get up for that stupid appointment in the morning. And I was having a hard time falling asleep, and it was terrible. So I didn't play yesterday. So today's really the first full day I've got to play 7.2. So.
Yeah, so next week, there's a pretty good chance that next week's show will be another interview show. But if it's not, we can go into a bit more detail after we've had a chance to live with the patch a little bit more.
We know what we're talking about versus speculating.
Right. So should be a little bit better at that point. But why don't you go ahead and take us through some of the feature changes. You've got so much more experience with it than me, like an extra day maybe. So you can take us through the points.
Well, yeah, I'm working with the new Legion. Once you get through there and do the new cutscene, and you've got some questing to do in there. You've got the ability to increase your artifact knowledge. So you can go above artifact knowledge level 25. And there's a there's a progression for that you've got to. You're not quite there yet. I've got that on 3 of my tunes right now.
Right.
What a pain. They've got a new dungeon out, the Cathedral of Eternal Night.
Okay.
Went through that today. There's trying to remember how many bosses. 4 bosses.
Okay.
That was an interesting time. One of the guys in the guild knows I wasn't on yesterday, and he goes, "Well, have you done the dungeon yet?" It was like, "Well, no, I was planning on it, but I wasn't able to play yesterday." So he goes, "Well, why don't we do it today? I'll bring you in there." So he gets a guild group together. Couldn't find a healer that was online at the time, so we pugged our healer in. But basically, we're all in a guild group, all on Discord, so we're all able to talk.
Except the healer, right?
Except the healer. we just get, and we're typing to him. And
what could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? So we we get inside the dungeon, and we're clearing trash out there, and my doorbell rings. It's like, what the heck? The guys, hold on a second. Let me go find out what's going on. And I go downstairs. Mrs. Mack wasn't home, so I go down and answer the door. And the last 2 or 3 days, we've had a lot of snow. Spring is here, so we've got to have a lot of snow up here in Alaska.
I swear I thought you were going to say it was land shark at your door.
Yeah, land shark.
Candy grab. Anyway,
so they're plowing the parking lot where I live, so I've got to move my car. And I run upstairs and say, guys, they're here to plow the parking lot. I've got to go out front. It's probably going to take about 5-10 minutes so I can come back inside. The guys in the guild are like, no problem. We'll clear this room right here off to the right. We'll leave your tune right there, and you can catch up to us by the time we get to the first boss.
Right.
It's like, okay, no problem. So we clear the room. They leave me sitting there. I'll be right back. I run out front, move the car, and moved it into a neighbor's drive and thought I got stuck for a minute. I thought this was going to be longer than 10 minutes out here. I was able to get myself unstuck and wait. They cleaned it off, and I went inside. I get back up, and they're laughing when I get back on Discord. And I guess the healer started getting a little intense in group. Come on! I was on my Death Knight. Come on, Death Knight! Catch up! And they were typing in party chat to him that, hey, he's AFK. Party chat wasn't working. He couldn't read anything in party chat. He could only read thing in instant. You had to type instant chat for some reason.
Right.
He could read it in the instant, but not in party chat.
Right.
So they've told him 4 or 5 times he'll be right back. But I did get there in time for the first boss, and
how was it? I mean, was it good?
It was pretty good. I took a dirt nap a couple times.
Right.
Was able to battle res a couple tunes while we were running through there. And able
Did that happen when you were at the keys or when you were gone?
That actually happened while I was at the keys.
Well, that makes sense because you were in much more secure hands when you were away. you had somebody else watching your back.
Well, they were real kind to me, and they had originally thought we would do it in Mythic, and I said, guys, the first time I do this, I'd really like to do it on Heroic, so I get an idea what's going on.
Hey, you're getting all these compliments that, while you were gone, you were able to watch your aggro really well. Anyway.
Also, the problem with that DK is compared to the tank spec, he's a little squishy. Not as squishy as my rogue, but
right.
He puts out a lot of DPS. So if the tank loses aggro, I normally get hit pretty doggone hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, only took a couple derp naps. Wasn't as bad as when we did Court of Stars.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Really appreciate the guys helping us out there. But
did you get any upgrades in the dungeon?
I got a shoulder upgrade.
Okay.
So now my item level's 870. Raiders out there are going to go 870. But for somebody who doesn't raid, I mean,
it's better than what I have. I never get an upgrade. It's I swear. I mean, I know that they're supposedly they beefed up the world quest, but I mean, I'm not even looking for a legendary. I'm looking for something that is an upgrade. It's always like 10 eye levels below what I already have.
I'm afraid to start the Broken Shore with my Demon Hunter because I mean he's only been 110 about a week or two,
right?
And I haven't had as much playtime as I would like to. So his item level is like 780 or something.
Oh, that'll be ugly.
So he's gonna go splat over and over again. I'm waiting.
Yeah, you might want to work on his gear a little bit before. I'm just saying.
We'll see what happens. They did increase the on Demon Hunters, or they did increase the wards take another 20% damage reduction. So. That may help, but not that much, I don't think.
So they've got with this new patch. They've got the demon assaults like in the patch before launch, right?
Right. Currently they're on the Broken Shore. You'll have the little assaults down there. You have the bosses that spawn periodically. You can run over there, kill the bosses. they drop these shards that can be used to buy new gear if you need upgrades. Hint, hint.
Oh yeah, if you need upgrades, but I mean, what item level are we talking about for these upgrades?
I haven't. I don't have a shards to purchase one yet. I may try one with my demon hunter.
Have you checked the vendor to see what they're selling?
It just says it'll give you it gives you a class specific item. It basically will roll it up for you, and I'm assuming it's going to look at your item level and give you something similar.
Oh, it's a trust me thing. Trust me, I'm going to give you something really good that you're going to like.
I've heard some complaints about that too.
I used to use that line at the clubs, and it's not always true. It's anyway.
But yeah, so currently the demon assaults are happening on the Broken Shore. It said they may start moving to other areas of the Legion expansion. So I haven't seen them yet, but besides the ones that pop up in Dalaran every once in a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see some of those.
Well, they indicated that when that came out, way back when, that it would expand out further,
Right.
into the expansion.
And then a Broken Isle Pathfinder 2, that portion is available now, so you can start working on that towards working on your flying.
Yeah, there's that new faction that's associated with it that you have to get to Revered.
Right,
and
they now have the Legion progression. When you get past Exalted, it gives you a chance. As you're progressing up, you get these chests, and it gives you a chance to get one of 3 new mounts: the High Mountain Elderhorn, the Wild Dream Runner, and Leywoven Flying Carpet. So there's 3 new mounts that are available for moving your faction up past Exalted. So I'm looking forward to that, because I've got all of mine past Exalted except for the new Legion stuff.
Right. Right, so you're pretty far along on the Pathfinder then.
Yes, yeah. There's a couple things I have to do, just that I wasn't able to, but most of it, I think it's like one or two dungeons.
Yeah.
Maybe it's raids that I've got to get out, and those are available in LFR, so I'll be able to do those now.
Okay. All right. And so you talked about the new mounts. Something I'm not really familiar with in very much detail are the PvP brawls that have been added. What do you know about that?
Well, they're adding some of those things. They're adding the South Shore and Taran Mill, like you used to do over there.
Right.
They've got the one that was something about gravity.
That's what it is. They talked about that. That's where they're going to change the rules a little bit. There'll be like some kind of little shift, like you're riding rams around on one of them,
right?
Your goats or something. I don't know. And the other one was Eye of the Storm, that they do the gravity thing.
I think so.
But anyway, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, I heard about that. That's interesting. I mean. I don't expect to have as many honor points as you have with your extensive PvP that you do by clicking a button every day. Cheater.
Once every 18 hours.
I report you for that like every day, and I don't know why you haven't got. One of these days, we're going to be doing the show, and you're going to say, "Yeah, I got banned." I don't know.
Well,
I got a 7-day vacation.
I actually got a little concerned today. I was out there on my druid, running around, and all the mobs out there drop these little nether shards, or these shards that are used for purchase out there, and the guys are mass pulling them, and they were making these portals appear. Right. And these mobs were coming out dropping by the droves. I don't know if that's if the way they were doing it, I don't know if that's an exploit. I just happened to be running through the area trying to get to this thing, and my first AoE, I had way more mobs than I wanted on me, and I sat there. I was just trying not to get killed. I sat there and fought for 10 minutes just to get to this.
You were an aggro the whole time, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm just like, look, I don't want to kill these mobs. I'm just trying to click on this portal to shut this stupid thing.
You should just feign death.
I can't do that as a bear tank.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, if you're worried about that, I mean, I think if they see something like that, they see somebody caught in the middle of that, they're probably not going to assume right off the bat that you're exploiting. They'll probably think, oh, he just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They'll probably ask people that are close to you that would know you really well if you're an exploiter. And if they ask me, I'll say, I'm quite certain that the legendaries that he seems to get every day are gotten completely legitimately. I don't believe that there's any hanky-panky going on at all. And so I got you, man. I got you.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, I went out and beat feet out of there. So, but yeah, I completed that one out. They do have also the new pet battle dungeon, which again I have not been able to test out. I'm not a big pet battler, but
I'm curious about that. I'm gonna definitely check that out. I'll be able to report on that next week. So.
Right. It says you've got to have at least one level 25 battle pet, which I do have. You've got multiples. I don't pet battle very often. It's a new scenario that's available. You talk to Brianni and Dalaran. That's supposed to start up the new scenario for this pet battle dungeon. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works. We mentioned about the new artifact knowledge going up above level 25.
Did we? I guess we did.
Maybe, yeah. Anyways, once the artifact knowledge is above 25 and you get 35 traits on your artifact, you get a quest to allow you to empower your artifact even further, so you get an additional 4 traits. I've got that on my DK, my Druid, and my Pally. I'm probably about 20 minutes away from finishing it on my Pally.
Okay.
So...
Hey,
I mean, not too bad for just having one day to dink around with it,
There was one change that I couldn't help but notice that I know you're probably really happy about, and I'll let you tell everybody how happy you are about it. Evidently, now, as of the patch, you no longer have to do the quest for the Obliterum Forge.
Bastards.
And you're not happy about that change?
I got the Obliterum Forge on 5 of my tunes at a cost of about, as I didn't make the items, I just went on bottom of the auction house. It was about $20K roughly about $20K per Obliterum Forge. So
I'm sure refunds coming your way.
I'm not super happy about that because I didn't really use them that much. It was like, oh, it's there, the quest is up, I'll use it. I'll use it eventually, and now it's like, eh.
Oh man, never get something like that in advance, because oh man, the changes are going to come down.
Well, they had to find a way for me to have some a gold sink for me. That's it. That was the one advantage you have with not having as many 110s in this expansion.
Hey, you know what? I made a decision, and that was that until this game becomes alt friendly again, I'm going to listen to them as they tell me that I'm doing it wrong, and I will play one character.
Well, I tell you what, the
seems to be the message. So
yeah, the grind is in. Oh my word.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that we're heading a good direction. I mean, there are as far as that goes, there are some changes that are alt friendly. Finishing up Pathfinder will be big because that'll be account wide, and so you'll be able to complete it, and then it'll make it a lot easier for your alts coming through, certainly. And the no quest needed for Obliterum Forge, that's certainly an alt friendly change. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom,
right? And the ability to get your artifact knowledge up. I mean, you can buy the item that gives you 20 levels, and then there's another one in there right now where you can use, 500 artifact power or artifact power, 500 order hall
resources, yeah,
to give you the knowledge up to level 25. So you can go basically as long as you got a 110, you can level 110, you can go from artifact knowledge 0 to 25 with the quickness, as long as you've got the order hall resources.
Right.
So that's a little quicker, not quite as grindy as it was in the past.
A word of warning on that, because I actually did that today. It appears, unless I missed something, it continued to let me do that after I was 25. I didn't know I was 25, and I did about 2 or 3, quests there where I would give the 500 resources for an increase in level that didn't happen. So I lost some resources and got nothing for it, from what I can tell. Anyway, so be careful. Make sure you know where you're at. Don't just jump in there like I did and just not pay attention and just complete a quest over and over again.
And for everyone who is having a hard time leveling certain crafting skills, they have added, they've added some things that make that at least the skill ups go a little easier. Your world quests for your professions will add a skill point to your profession when you turn those in, and then some of the recipes now actually have a wider range, so they'll give you more skill ups.
Yeah, that's a good change, and also the crafted items are going up to eye level 835, which is up from 815. Yeah.
Right. And then no matter if you have an item that's crafted from 815 to 835, any one of those things, when you do use your first obliterum piece, that brings it up, whatever level it is, it brings it automatically up to 840. And then with using obliterum, you can go all the way up to level 875 with crafted gear.
Right.
So good way to twink a new level 110 if you get crappy gear like I do on my Demon Hunter.
It is. It's and it's not going to be any more expensive than buying the droppable epics in the auction house. I don't think.
Right.
I think it's going to be very similar as far as that goes. In fact, it might be cheaper to go that way, depending on how much obliterum is going for on your realm.
Right. But they've got archaeology. They've got new elite dig sites up that give you a chance to bring up artifact power while you're doing your dig sites. So those are kind of nice.
So what do they do exactly? Because I didn't see that. So.
I haven't done it. I was just reading it in the patch notes that there's new elite dig sites. You go to the dig sites. I'm assuming there's a lot higher level mobs in there, and they've got a chance for the items that you turn in to get a thing that gives you more artifact power. So again, I'll know more next week. I'll have a lot more playtime in. To test it out this weekend.
So it'll maybe be like a little piece like what you get for the order hall quests, where it'll give you an item that you can click on, or the world quest, it'll give you an item that you click on, gives you artifact power. You have a chance to dig up one of those, I guess.
Right. One thing I have done, not on the archaeology, but another thing they've done is Nami, or Nomi, however you want to pronounce his name, that Pandarian cook. He now has a chance to give you these prepared ingredients, and you use these things for making a recipe, and when you turn in the recipe, it gives you 10 of a random recipe that you know. So, I mean, it's random, but it's better than all that burnt and scorched food garbage that he was getting. I mean, he still does burn the food, but I got a couple of those today on that were sitting over there in the cooking area.
Yeah, we were talking about one of the changes that, we're kind of speculating a little bit before we recorded the show on what exactly it means and what it would apply to. But legendaries now work for level 101 plus instead of 110. And obviously, the go-to response to that is, okay, that's for the crafted. That's so that the crafted legendaries will work, because you remember we were talking about, crafted legendaries being tradable.
Right.
And all of a sudden, if those are, usable by 101, that becomes the ultimate twink item.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, being somebody who doesn't get legendaries, it's hard for me to be able to speak with any kind of authority on this. But
I've only been able to get them on my 110s. I had never got one on a 101 tunes.
Well, they didn't. I mean, this is a new change, but they wouldn't have you get something that then you couldn't use, I wouldn't think. So there was probably something in place to keep it from dropping for you if you were not level 110 or your name's Dex. So I had a bad experience.
You've had a bad expansion.
But anyway, the way I'm looking at it is, and again, pure speculation because legendaries, me don't know. But it seems to me that they mainly are dropping from World Quest, emissary quests for doing World Quests. And if that's true, then, unless they made it so that 101s could do World Quests, that's not going to really change much of anything except for the crafted ones.
I know they've got a chance to drop in dungeons.
But isn't it like a real small chance compared to like World Quests?
No, I think it's the higher level of the dungeon, like in Mythics and stuff like that. I think the higher level of the dungeon, the better chance you've got. What the mob, it's just like the higher level mob you attack. If you're doing a world boss, you got a better chance than you have just turning in a world quest.
Well, I guess what we need to say is anybody out there that's listening to this, if you have gotten a legendary at below 110, doesn't have to be 101, but just prior to 110, if you got one through questing or something or other, or dungeon, let us know. Let us know what you found out. I'd love to hear from somebody who actually got one. I'd love to actually get one, but barring that, I'd love to hear from somebody who got one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun at your expense for many months now.
Yeah.
They've also one of the other nice things again, gold making, at least temporarily. I believe the prices on certain things in the auction house are going to go down. They've decreased the number of mats on lots of different recipes for a variety of different professions. I know on the my engineer, some of the mats have dropped. How many mats you need by 50% on some of them. On my my alchemist, they've reduced the amount of items that you need to use to craft gear or craft potions. I'm sorry, because of the fact that you've got all of these items that are taking less mats. The price of mats has dropped a little bit since the expansion came up. Basically, I think you're going to see the prices go down in the auction house on certain items. The new stuff, the crafted legendaries and stuff, I think that's going to be through the roof in the beginning as usual. It's new shinies, but some of the potions and some of the raid potions and things like that are going to be down in price.
Yeah,
I believe.
Well, and this isn't going to happen immediately, but at some point into this latest patch, we're going to see gathering materials, herbs and ore and so forth go down drastically in price because once people start getting flying, and I think we talked about it a little bit last week that when we had the interview with Ro, I think we talked about how we kind of foresee that a lot of the early people in there grabbing flying are going to be doing so because of gathering. Right. That's going to be their motivation.
And for herbing, which has made a lot of people a lot of gold this whole expansion, the Broken Shore, where you have the herbs that you're able to pick out there, they have the little fell-encrusted herbs. You get multiple different types of herbs on those, and they're actually, I think herbing over there, where you're leveling up on the broken shore, is gonna be pretty easy, and I think you're gonna see an influx of a lot of herbs just from that.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we're really kind of talking about something that we've only scratched the surface on. But that's the way it works. When you get a patch, and we didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare and see very much of it before recording the show.
Right, right. And hopefully by next week I'll have the Champions of Legion Fall achievement. That's the one where you get the new companion for the new Legion.
Right.
That'll allow you to give your class all upgrades. You can get up to level 8 class all upgrades. So two more upgrades for your class all. The first one takes 1 day to complete. Then the level 8 takes 5 days after that. And I think it was like 10,000 Order Hall resources for the first level and 15,000 for the second level, if I remember, at least on my DK.
Right.
So I hopefully I'll have that done here by next week.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. We'll have to hear all about that.
We'd like to thank everyone that listens to us every week. We appreciate your feedback and appreciate everybody contacting us. If you enjoy what we're doing here, you can help support the show by visiting us at our swag store. And we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But you can actually get T-shirts. We've got coffee mugs, shot glasses, mouse pads with our logo on it. You've got some other T-shirts out there. We've got the T-shirt that Dex talked about here in a few episodes that he bleeped himself out of. That's on the...
Yeah, let me just echo what Max said there, that we really do appreciate any support that you guys send us on any of that. And I think that's going to about wrap up this week's show. I'd like to thank Schaefer Bates for his awesome work as the Goblin voice at the beginning of each show. Also, Kevin MacLeod at Incomputech.com for his theme music, Hot Rock, licensed to us under Creative Commons.
And you can contact us at Mac, that's M-A-C, at GoblinGoldcast.com, or Dex, that's D-E-X, at GoblinGoldcast.com. If you're having trouble reaching us on our main email, we have an alternate email. It's MacGoblinGoldcast at gmail.com. You can contact us on Twitter at Goblin Goldcast, or you can visit us on Facebook.
And don't forget to visit the swag store, as we mentioned earlier, cafepress.com/Goblin Goldcast. And you can leave us a voicemail on our website, GoblinGoldcast.com. And please subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher if you listen to us there.
And we'll see you next week.
Now go make some gold.
Freddie, as a younger man, I was a sculptor, a painter, and a musician. There was just one problem. I wasn't very good. As a matter of fact, I was dreadful. I finally came to the frustrating conclusion that I had taste and style, but not talent. I knew my limitations. We all have our limitations, Freddie. Fortunately, I discovered that taste and style were commodities that people desired. Freddie, what I'm saying is, know your limitations. You are a moron.